رح نبدأ الحقيقة في الجولة الجميلة هذا اليوم بمحاضرة من خارج القاعة. اسمحوا لي بس أفتح البرنامج حتى أعطيكم. الموضوع هو ورقة تتحدث عن تمويل خطط التكيف والتخفيف في القطاع الزراعي في الدول المنطقة العربية، المعوقات والإمكانات. يتحدث فيها الدكتور أمجد المهدي من خارج القاعة عبر زوم، رئيس قطاع المياه بصندوق المناخ الأخضر، ويتحدث من كوريا الجنوبية رغم أنه ليس من كوريا الجنوبية. تفضل دكتور أمجد، المجال لك، وأرجو الالتزام ب10 دقائق إن سمحت. إحنا مش سامعين الصوت، لازم الأنميوت أو من عندنا. بسم الله، تفضل دكتور. إحنا مش سامعين الصوت مرة تانية. أرجو من المنظمين حتى أبدأ 10 دقائق. جرب يا دكتور أمجد.
Can you hear me now?
تمام. Yes, we can.
تمام. First of all, thanks for the invitation to be the keynote speaker and to talk to you about the financing adaptation mitigation plan and what are really the key barriers and possibility as well to finance adaptation and mitigation. So first of all, I think it's a very clear, like the climate challenge that we are currently facing. We are having really a new climate to be able to meet our SDGs and also the Paris Agreement. And what we see on the slides here, the number of climate disaster for the next generation, it will be actually 3 times more than we currently face. So the frequency of the climate disaster will increase as well. And this by itself alarming. If we look at the agriculture sector, so 73 countries in the world, including the region, in the Arab region, as you can see on the map here, are really exposed to climate change or climate hazard as drought, flood. We have seen the flood in case A in Jordan. We have seen drought in Morocco, that's very extended drought. But also climate variability and the change of rainfall and a change in temperature or increasing the temperature that reflecting in the growing season as well. But if we look at really like the key challenge that we are facing for agriculture, it's really impacted by climate change in terms of like crop yield, for example, decreasing by 10 to 50% between different countries in the region, but also the challenge to be able to produce more food as we see increasing in population and the change in diet. So that also come or required to come with lowering greenhouse gas emission, where we see the agricultural sector contributing to the greenhouse gas emission by 19% that come through direct or indirect emission. If we look even at the food losses, it's around 8% as well. So what we have as a target over the coming 6 years, so we have really like to act fast. And to act fast, you need finance. And we are really behind on our sustainable development goals and also on the Paris Agreement as well. So we really need to harvest those over the 6 years. And we really need to take that systemic approach to solve the problem, but also mobilizing finance. But if we look at really like what is really like the goals that have been documented in all the national determined contributions, which is really like the obligations for the Paris Agreement. So 90% of the countries that really looking at agricultural adaptation policies and measure, 68% of the countries that really looking at greenhouse gas emissions target, 31% of the countries looking at agricultural sector with specific mitigation policies, but also 70% of the countries that really looking at water aspect as well. But why there is no finance, or why there is a barriers to access finance? So as you can see here, there is a number of factors. So first is really like limited access to financing mechanism, and this coming through really like the process that's already in place, and how the farmers be able to put their application to access finance, but also the insufficient security or credit history. So you always see like local banks require like a security for the loan, which sometimes it's hard for small farmers to provide this. Also small farmers, they don't really have a credit history as well. But also the lacking of that type of integrated planning at the national level. So you always see a silo plan for water, for agriculture, for energy, for food, and so on. But also the investment in innovation or innovative farming practice become as a very risky investment. And that's why local banks see, oh, it's a very risky, so they actually put high interest rate. So how we can actually shift that thinking and perception about investing in resilience farming system, but also that lack to access affordable finance, because we see the cost to access the money become very high as well. And also the lacking of public and private finance as well. So the public, we understand public finance, it's not continuous, and there is also interruption. If we look at the level of debt in the region, it's quite high. Sometimes it's between 30 to 50% from the GDP as well. And finally, it's really the knowledge and information gap. All of this coming as like a collective barriers to access finance. But if we really focus on in our region, in the Arab regions, and what are really the key reasons here for limited access to finance for smallholder farmers? So there is a number of economic vulnerability, the financial literacy, the lack of collateral or security, the uncertain on the return, and bureaucratic barriers. I will not go into the detail, but it's really come to the application process, the REIT tab, the bureaucratic process, the limited financial or the limited capacity of the farmers to understand like how they apply for finance, what the different type or different options of finance. Of course, the scale of political instability and conflict and fragility in the region. And of course, we see what is happening now in our region as well. But also the investor by itself vision or how they perceive the climate resilience agricultural project, and how that come as like a really high risk, how we mitigate that risk as well. So if we really look at the landscape of all the financial institutions that really fund agriculture sector, is really the question about how much finance or how the quality of that finance. I think we really need to differentiate between quantity and quality, because the question here, it's about really quality of the finance and how we bring climate finance to be part of that financial landscape. So there is a number of international funds like Green Climate Fund, which has established under UNFCCC to serve the Paris Agreement and provide that climate finance for all sector, including the agriculture or food system. So I will not go into details on that in respect to the time, but I wanted to compare here or to show you like the different key financial institutions and also the role of the Green Climate Fund, taking really like the scale of the ticket size, how much money we can provide for one single project, and also how much risk we can take. So what we try to do here, taking a high ticket size and high risk to be able really to scale and create market for those projects, to be able really to tackle the climate change and provide support to climate resilience projects. And we have defined like a number of pathways that can actually make this happen and make investment really investable and attract investment. especially for the agriculture sector. So the first one, really how we promote that resilience agroecology. And this in terms of really like the improving on top of seed, alternative crops or different crop variety that's really tolerating to drought, but also how we diversify the cropping system and also the agriculture or farming system. The second pathways for the paradigm shifting is really like facilitate the climate-informed advisory service and also the risk management. And this is how you bring like the weather information into the decision or early warning system into the farming decision in terms of when they irrigate, how much water to irrigate, when they put the seeds, and also when they can do harvest. But also, last one, it's really about reconfigure the
1 minute, Doctor. 1
system.
minute.
And this about like how we think about the food that produced or stored or transport or sold and consumed. The whole value chain, how we think about the whole value chain and how we do some shifting and ensure.
1 minute, Doctor, please. You have only 1 minute. If you can wrap up, thank you very much.
All right, no worries. So I think I want to go to really like the innovation in terms of financial institutions here. So climate finance as an instrument that where can attract really private investment, microfinance and fintech solution that actually can allow access to finance and simplify the lending process, climate fund and grants that can actually de-risk that investment, and also the public-private partnership where it can actually generate a different acceptable revenue streams. To improve access to finance, there is a number of strategies here that go through capacity building and knowledge sharing, how you partnership with the private sector, how you work through the different adaptation mitigation measures, and also the political and institutional reform. So as a take-home message, access to finance here, it's really a challenge for the Arab regions. Financing adaptation and mitigations project or plan, it's a very complex and actually coming into the limited access to finance. However, like there is a number of solutions here, the international financing mechanism, how you prioritize the political, the institutional reform, fostering the capacity building, knowledge sharing, and also engage with the private sector can really overcome those barriers. The way forward here, it's really to come with determined efforts that actually require government, financial institution, civil society, private sector, international partner to work in harmony to be able to put like a proper financial mechanism for small-scale farmers. If we are able to do this in the Arab regions, we'll be able to strengthen the agriculture sector, promote the climate resilience, and contribute to the global effort of climate change, and really pave the way for sustainable agriculture, ensuring food and water security, and also livelihood for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Amjad. Thank you very much. Can we clap for him, please?